Hello, my name is Candace Bernhardt Johnson, and this is my personal horse, Rosie. Rosie is a 25-year-old North American Spotted Draft. She's about 15 hands, and she has PPID. Currently, she's managed holistically. She's not on percent, and so far she's done really well. She does have arthritis in her hock. She has arthritis in, I believe, her hip, maybe her stifle, but definitely her hocks. And she has ring bone in her front right pastern. We're not 100% sure if it's both the long and short pastern, but it's definitely there. I'm not sure why. It could be that she had an injury there, but we're not 100% sure what happened there. I don't have x-rays for it. And she had at some point when she was between 18, I believe between 17 and 19, somewhere around there, she experienced a muscle tear to her semitendinosus of the right hind. It does not cause a lameness, but it does cause an irregularity in her gait. So she has kind of a goose stepping slap to the ground. She can work out of it, and especially if she is in work, specifically dressage, she can absolutely work out of it. However, it's a very large knot of scar tissue, and it's something we've been working on to try to help her release that. So today for the evaluation and session, what I'm going to be working on is focusing on what I could do for CST and for massage. Today though, this will be for the actual session that I'll be doing is CST. So I know, starting right off the bat, I know that I will be focusing on her back and her pelvis, specifically her hocks, because those are all her problem areas. Although she does have a tendency to deal with a lot of stiffness around her pole and up here at the sponneus from time to time from compensating, balancing. So those are the typical areas that she deals with, and sometimes she deals with a little bit of discomfort and tightness in her noggin. And just overall body soreness. The other thing is she deals with a little bit of back pain that's centrally located about the center of her back. So sometimes it's uncomfortable for her. Sometimes it's not. When you see her from the side, she does look sway-backed. She is not sway-backed. She's able to lift herself out of that, but it's a posture that she's gotten into because of discomfort. And she has very lax core muscles, partially due to her age and partially due to PPID. And granted, like I said, when she's in work, she will work out of that and she can have beautiful posture, but unfortunately it's a habit that's been developed from not really doing a whole lot. So before I get going, we're gonna do her vitals first. I'm gonna check out her head. She usually is pretty symmetrical in her skull. She doesn't usually have any kind of problems going on, although right here, her right nostril is a little bit higher than the left. Her ears, Miss Rowe, her left ear almost looks a little higher. I'm sorry, the right ear looks a little higher than the left ear. There might be some tightness there. Nothing really to note as far as cranial bones. Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie. I'm so sorry. I got you in the eyeball. Her eyes look good, nice and clear, no puffiness, no redness. Hang on. Nice, beautiful pink gums. Hey, hang on, hang on. Hang on. Capillary refill is immediate. While I'm here, I'm going to look at her teeth. So she does not have any hooks. And to my knowledge, Rose is not missing any teeth. She's got really nice teeth considering her age. Can you move your tongue, please? See her bite. She's got a pretty straight bite, although this one tooth right here is chipped on the edge. But that's pretty good. Girl. Now I have my trusty stethoscope. My goodness. Just in case I can't find a pulse on her. Sometimes she's difficult. Come on, baby, step up here. So I can see the timer. There we are, good. Okay, so she's at about 40 beats per minute. Right in there at 40. Hi. Here. Hi. And right about now. All right, so respiration is good. She's at about 15. So we're good there. Huh. About 15, 16. Okay. So I do not have a hand for the gait analysis, so what I'm going to do is go down and back side to side so that you can see her movement. But for my purposes, I'm going to have her circle a couple of times so that I can get a good idea of what we're working with today. Excuse me. And then we'll go into the hands-on palpation. All right. Come on, Rue. going to have her circle so I can get an idea of what I'm looking at. So I know that generally speaking, Rose is very tight to her back. Although she has a tendency to carry herself really well despite that. There's no hesitation to stride forward, although it is a little bit of a short stride. Come on. There's David. There we go, good girl. So she's short and striding behind. There is that slapping in that right hind. It's restricted. She can't really reach it forward as well as she should be able to. Come on, Rose. Good girl. No struggles turning. She's very restricted in her hips. They're very, very tight. Through her pelvis is very tight. Her back is tight, lowered, and not engaged, which, like I said, is not unusual for her. She's not engaging her abdominal muscles. I do see some tension in her shoulders, a little bit of restriction in her shoulders. Let's see if I can ask her to jog for me. Rose, trot. Trot. A little bit of resistance to trotting. Good girl. Good girl. So there is, she is limping on the hind. On that right hind. Although it's not as noticeable on this side, which is good, so that tells me that right hind is sore. Good girl. Good there. Good girl. Her balance is much better over here. There's some stretching. She's wanting to move forward. Good girl. Okay. Good there. That's enough. That's enough, Stevie. Easy. Alright. So Rose is definitely the type of horse that she doesn't really care how lame she is. If she's enjoying something and she wants to do something for you, she'll continue to do it, even if she's uncomfortable. So I have to remind her to slow down. I have to remind her that, okay, maybe you shouldn't do that because you are in pain. It's both a blessing and a curse, unfortunately. Huh. Okay. So we are going to go ahead and look at range of motion and palpation. So as I said earlier before, I didn't feel anything unusual in her head. Good girl. There's a release at the TMJ. And she feels a little restricted here at the left side. I didn't feel as much movement, but might be a little bit of discomfort here on the left side. No obvious points on her molars. So that I'm going to say has something to do more with her pole and in her neck than it does with her jaw. Good girl. There's quite a bit of tension here. A lot of tension. She's got quite a knot right there at the uppermost part of that splenius into the nuchal ligament. There's quite a big knot there. Brachiocephalic is a bit tight. Quite a bit of tightness through there. Very, very tight. No atrophy specifically to note, but she's very, very, very tight through her neck for palpating. We'll see what she can do here to turn her pole. very resistant to turning at the pole. Seems kind of hard for her to do that. Not terribly difficult here, but there's some resistance. Some pretty good resistance. Quite a bit of tension in the shoulder, especially up here on the back edge of the scapula. That feels pretty good right there, huh? Or it's uncomfortable. Now she's also been taught to back up when she feels slight pressure or hesitation on her chest. So it's there's a knot there. Okay. There's a knot there. Nothing really to note in her forearm, but she's very, very, very tight through this right shoulder. Possibly uncomfortable here at the point of the shoulder. Feel anything through her girth area? Hi. Or the abdominals. Down her longissimus. There's a little bit of tension at her lumbar, but nothing specific, although she is releasing there, so that's very, very sore for her. Going into her flank and her abdominal muscles. And this glute seems very stiff. Like I said, no stress points specifically, just general stiffness. Glute is very, 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 very tight. Very, very tight. Semitendinosus, semimembranosus are very, very tight. Biceps femoris is not too bad. I apologize for her muddy self. She lives outside. So sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge to get her really, really nice and clean without bathing her. And right now we have like 30, 40 degree temperatures, so I'm not going to be bathing anytime soon. Same deal here as with the left side of her neck. She's very, very tight. Just kind of overall, is that uncomfortable? That right there? Yeah, it's very, very stiff. Her whole neck is stiff. All of it. This shoulder seems to be a little uncomfortable as well. She's got some stiffness going on. There's quite a knot there. Quite a very large knot there. Are you itchy or are you uncomfortable? Feel a bit of a knot here on her lower pec. Right in there, there's a good stress point down in there. Quite a good stress point. Again, nothing specific in her back, though it does feel good to her. Very clearly feels good to have that rubbed on. This right glute is pretty tight, quite tight actually. Very, very tight. And of course, her semitendinosus, membranous is always very, 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 very high strung back here. And that scar tissue is quite prominent. Although there's no swelling around it like there normally is. Sometimes she gets some edema going on in there. That feels pretty good to her. But rubbing that. Biceps femoris is a bit tight on this side, which I would expect with her. Okay, since she is standing, come on, babe, stand up. Move that foot, please. Move this foot. Move that foot. Good girl. See if I can get her to get kind of square for me. Good girl. All right. So her pelvis is nice and level. Not one side is more developed or higher than the other. Although she does have a little more development of the glute here than she does on the left side. Looking at her shoulders, remove her mane so I can see it a little bit better. Her right shoulder is a little bit bigger than her right or than her left, but not extremely. Although I do see that she has quite a bit more tension in that left shoulder than this right, and she does appear to have her left shoulder rotated more forward than the right. The right seems more rotated backwards. All right, let's go back here. See if I can bring her out here for range of motion. Let's check the neck on this side. A little bit restricted, I would say. It's a bit restricted there. It's not extremely easy for her. She's kind of leaning into the halter. All right, let's get this leg. There we go, good girl. Okay, so it's kind of hard for her to get her knee. There's quite a bit of space here. There's quite a bit of restriction. It's difficult to get that lock up to her elbow. No quaking at the knee though. It's not super restricted. Although that lock is very, very tight. Not a whole lot of movement. Good girl. Can I have this, please? Let me have it. Here. Give me that foot. Good girl. Okay. So there's not really a whole lot of restriction that I can feel in her shoulder. She's got pretty good range of motion, but reaching forward seems to be difficult. There's a lot of tension there, resistance. Good girl. And it's a little bit easier to get that fat lock, but if there's still restriction and a very, very tight knee, fat lock is very, very tight. Ooh. restricted. Not a whole lot of sideways movement. And stretching is challenging for her. Oh. Come on, babe. Step up. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. All right. See this? Come on. Pick up. Good girl. All right. Pretty good, decent range of motion with that hawk and stifle. Although she really doesn't want to keep it compressed. Going back is pretty easy. Quite a bit of muscle spasming though when I ask her to lift it backwards. Kind of hard for her to hold it in this position. That stifle is pretty good. Quite a bit of restriction though at the pelvis, which could be more muscle than the joint. Willing to bet it's more muscle than the joint. Girl. See? The extension back is not too hard for her. A whole lot of popping going on in that pelvis. However, holding her leg up is hard. She's definitely leaning on me. But range of motion and stifle, and that hip is not too bad, but she's not very stable. She's having a very difficult time holding herself up. Okay. Good girl. All right, so based on my evaluation, she's got a lot going on in her pelvis. A lot going on as far as just general, I'm sorry. A lot of going on as far as general stiffness, soreness. She's very, very, very tight through her whole body, which I know, babe, we're very, very tight through our whole body. So what I'm going to focus on for her CST session is her pull. We're going to focus on her back, her pelvis, go a bit deeper in there. And as far as cranial adjustments, good girl. As far as cranial adjustments go, I think what I'm going to do is a frontal bone, frontal and parietal bone adjustment to help release the muscles around here. I don't really feel like she has anything too dramatic going on with her face, with her head. She loves hugs. And we're gonna work on her back. Now for a massage session, I mean, really, it's her whole her whole body. Everything is very, very sore, very, very stiff. So if I was going to do a massage session on her, everything, I would work on everything. Definitely focus on her back and on her haunches, specifically the latissimus, the glutes. Work on her neck and her shoulder. Really, any of those areas would be good areas to work with, but very, very much her pelvis. And it would seem that it's very hard for her to support her weight on the leg that had the muscle tear. And I would imagine that that would be a good place to start for her. Now, she also has gone through a course of Adequan, and when she did great. She moved really, really well. So it's very possible that because she felt good, she overdid it. And so now this is a little bit of repercussion. The soreness that comes after her being a loon romping through the pasture. Like I said, she's out almost 24/7, and she has 10 acres to roam, which 10 acres, there's quite a few hills, and she's out with 7 other horses. So knowing her and knowing her temperament, there's a very good chance that she just overdid it and pulled some things. Okay, so we're going to go ahead into her CST session here and see what we get. A Rose has been worked on twice now. This will be her 3rd session. And she is generally a stoic horse, so it may take a little bit to see her release. I'm going to try to let her process that, see if she'll release without me on her. Just thinking about it. See, for a horse that's really social and, I mean, genuinely loves people, she has a hard time releasing at her pool. Very difficult time releasing around her skull and her poll. I have a feeling she'll release a little bit more later if I work on her head. I'm gonna do that now. Easy, easy, easy. Easy. Hi, Benny. Hi, buddy. Might have to do it this way. She's a little bit low. I know. Good girl. Unfortunately, in Rose's past, she had some very, very heavy-handed riders. So she holds on to a lot of that, more so mentally than physically. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Now we got it. All right, look up here. Good girl. Do. Hold. quite the reaction.
Brian's on his way.
Hmm?
Brian is on his way.
Brian.
Yeah, cousin Brian. Grab that foresight laser.
Oh. Up here. I hate. It's in there. I see it. It wants to come out. Go to her shoulder. Good girl. Good girl. Ooh, lots of twitching. Lots and lots and lots of twitching there. All right. Ooh. Leave that on the ground for a minute. Leave it on the ground for a minute. All right. All right. Girl. There we go. Good girl. Yeah. That shoulder. Good. Just doing a lot of nodding, slow blinking, lip quivers, things like that. Ooh, she's got a lot of bug bites on her tummy. This is part of the reason why she's kind of losing it at the moment. Yeah. Yeah. She really, really wants me to itch her. Girl. Go back here to that sacrum. Girl. Lumbar. Girl. Sacrum. Ooh, there was that pelvis popped right up here. I am sorry, I'm not even on camera. We are not even on camera. Whoops. All right. Lumbar. Good girl. We got our sacrum. Good. Do that again from this side. Lord knows she needs it. Girl. Yeah. I'll get that sacrum again. Good girl. Good. Lots and lots of gut sounds. Really loud gut sounds. Rose. Alright. Then we'll go ahead and do the tail. And her back. Before I go into leg unwinding. There's some gas, that's nice. And some gut sounds. Huh? She wanted to walk out of it. Okay. Let's go ahead and do your legs. Unwinding. Okay. There we go. About. You had the right idea to start with those. There we go. Good girl. There you go. Cool. Right there. This is her favorite part, is having her legs unwound. Oh, that's lovely. Thank you. There we go. This one. Good girl. I got it. I got it. Good mare. Good girl. There we go. Step up. No, just a little. Good girl. That'll work. Good girl. Yeah, good girl. Alright. That feel good? Yeah. Alright. I need your foot though. We're almost done. I need this one. Good girl. Here we go. She's usually pretty good about letting that relax when she's had it picked up. Good girl. Thank you. Thank you for the hug. Thank you very much. Okay. You come here. Come on. Just want to hang out? Come on. Come on. No? All right. Well, we'll let her sit there for a second. She turned loose pretty well of her rear end, where there was a lot of movement in the vertebrae. Hey, you. There was a lot of movement in her pelvis, through her back. She's still very reluctant to release in her head, and at her pole, so those are things we'll work on, both with CST and massage. Like I said, this is her third CST session, and with every session she's getting much more comfortable with releasing. Usually through her back, through her pelvis is not difficult for her, but it's more her head, her neck, her pole that she has a hard time with. Hi. But she's, as you can tell, she's very appreciative of having things done. I did not teach her to hug me. I did not teach her to be affectionate. It's just something that she naturally offers, and I appreciate, so reciprocate it. But yeah, she's She's doing pretty good. What do you think? Yeah. But yeah, in the future, definitely going to focus on her pelvis, her pole, trying to get her to release that tension in her head and her pole. It's so very difficult for her to do that. And I'm not entirely certain if it's physical so much as it is mental and emotional. But yeah, there we go. Thank you.